All right, what's going on, everybody? We are here on a new project we're about to get started on. Well, we got started a little bit actually, but I did want to show you guys exactly what we're going to be doing here. We do have the whole, well, almost the whole crew here. We got Tyler, my brother, Jeff, and Shane. What we plan on doing here is we're going to be taking out this whole walkway right here. This is all going to be brand new concrete. As you guys can tell, this thing's pretty old and beat down, probably from, I want to say maybe late 70s, early 80s. This right here is all going to be coming out, this fencing and railing. We're going to be putting a new redwood horizontal fencing right here. So basically coming off the corner there, shooting this way. We're going to take out this extra concrete right here because they want to basically put a planter bed right here. Our new fencing is going to go right here on this blue line marked area, coming down this way. Gonna end right about here, shoot straight with the corner of the house right here, right? All this concrete, the planter beds are still staying. The planter beds are not going anywhere. We're leaving the planter beds. We are gonna be taking out all this concrete right here and the back concrete right here as well. And then we're gonna be putting a drain system. Probably one drain right here. And yeah, that'll probably be about it. Maybe one more right here, because this yard does have like a crown, it looks like. Basically from this little point right here, it looks like it shoots this way and that way. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. That's what we plan on doing. And oh, you know what? We are going to be putting a sump pump in because of the way the yard is graded. We're going to throw a sump pump right back there, shoot it out this way. Oh, and then here is the wood that we are going to be going with. It's redwood. We were hoping to go with something else, but the clients wanted to go with the redwood from Home Depot, but I did show them the options of, you know, Ganal's lumber options, which is a lot nicer, but it is more costly. So you're not going to be going with that wood.
Here we are doing the demo. We got a little mini skid steer Bobcat. We've got a little bin dropped off on site. These bins, really good deal on those, $550. And you can crown the top out of them all the way. It says maximum load level, but we crown these things up. We get, you know, close to probably 8 yards of broken concrete in here. What we like to do is once we get them in there, smash them up and stack them like a jigsaw puzzle so that there's no airspace. That way it's super tight, super heavy, and we maximize the load, which works out really beautiful. There's an old walkway. They're gonna work this. They're working this this entry, kind of unusual way to do it. It kind of splits their backyard into like two halves. But you know, that's what they wanted. They were really adamant about doing it this way. That way they kind of have an entrance walkway, and then they partition the backyard, the side yard off into two sections. Here's the saw cutting of that concrete. That way that new redwood fence can go in. Cedar's pretty good as well. Redwood works, cedar. They're both good outdoor lumbers. But you know, any lumber's good as long as you hit it with used motor oil on a regular basis. That's basically what I do. I mean, I got some wood planks on my trailers and stuff, and I'll just hit it with used motor oil right out of my truck on a regular basis. This stuff lasts forever. Transmission fluid works great too. Actually use transmission fluid on wood. That'll preserve it. Here's that broken water. This is the feed for the sprinkler system. Not a big deal. Usually there's a valve, you know, when they're coming off of the main, you know, to hit a sprinkler system. There's usually an independent valve, but I don't think there was one on this house, or it was hidden in these, could have been hidden in these bushes. So we weren't able to find it. But, you know, sometimes they don't work either. So you got to go back to the main on the street. Those usually always work. Not 100% in some cases, because you'll still get a drip off of the main, so you really can't do any soldering or brass fittings until you completely disconnect the meter from the main, and then you get a complete shut off. But in this case, it was just PVC and it was glue, so it didn't have to be 100% dry. Really nice when you hit PVC pipe because it's so easy to repair. You know, an interesting thing about PVC and buildup, when your PVC is clogged up due to mineral deposits in the water, when your heads stop working and functioning, I found a really easy fix to clear out your sprinkler lines due to high mineral in your water. And what you do is you go to the highest point of your sprinkler head on that station, dump about a gallon of muriatic acid into the pipe itself, and the reaction with the hard water deposit minerals that are clogging the pipe actually blows out at every head, and you have a perfectly clear line after that without having to do anything really tricky. So if you find your sprinkler system has low flow, try that technique. I think you're going to love it. This concrete's kind of bound in there between the house and the other concrete, so it's hard to get out without doing residual damage to the existing, the part that you don't want to take out. So, I mean, it's, you know, collateral damage. That's why they're going along that edge with the jackhammer, just pulverizing it, so when they lift it, it doesn't bind and then spall the existing. Another way you can do it too that helps is just run the saw cut all the way down the cold joint, you know, run the saw full depth along that joint, and then usually it'll slide out pretty clean. This wire mesh, man, makes real nightmare removal. Worst thing I've run into on removal, I'd have to say, is chain link fence. Rebar is easy because you just follow them. Once you realize the pattern they put them on, like 18 1 foot, 2 foot, you just follow them down the line with the breaker, and then it just falls off of the rebar. But when you got wire mesh, there's no pattern, no rhyme or reason where you hit it. It's just going to be tough all the way through. But chain link is the hardest to get out because they're so tightly knit and it's galvanized, so zero rust, and it's flexible. So that's probably your toughest reinforcement.
So demo day is basically done. We got this bin full. This bin is full. As you can see, all the old concrete is torn out. What we're planning on doing tomorrow is we need to get a lot of drains in, a little bit of base, and some forming. We will be putting that sump pump in all the way in the back, so there will be no more flooding problems in this backyard. Because she was getting a lot of flooding problems back here. We're gonna make sure that's not happening anymore. Pretty good day, got a lot done, and hopefully we stay on schedule because Thursday will be the pour day.
So on the drainage situation here, looks like they're gonna do, because once you dig your trench in, you start at the highest point in the back, because you pick up a lot of slope when you hit the gutter, right? You got 6 inches on curb face right off the top, and then you've always got 2% to back of sidewalk or apron approach, so you pick up another about 2 or 3 inches. So now you got 8 inches and about 10 feet of slope. Now you just gotta do a lot of digging to get that pipe to slope from the back to the front. And you can see they're using a level to on the bottom of the trench as they're digging it. That way you don't overdig. The last thing you want to do is overdig when you're, using a shovel. Now if you're using a backhoe, that's a different story. you can go ahead and overdig those if you want. It's really easy to do. So here's the form going in for the new sidewalk, and then the fence will be right along that, the redwood fence, and then what you'll have is a planter on the other side. Because there's not a lot of slope on this lot, you can see how high the pipe is. So they got minimal slope. It works if you get your pipe in even level and then break it at the end, you're still going to get drainage because water seeks its own level. So you've got 3-inch diameter pipe. So if you're in level, you actually really have 3 inches of slope because of the diameter of the pipe. Although you could get sediment buildup that way too, but nothing a water hose won't flush out now and then. Or the old muriatic acid trick. So these posts are going to go in with just your basic quick concrete mix. You know when I'm doing post holes like this, a lot of times I won't even mix the concrete with water in a wheelbarrow or mixer. I'll just dump it in there dry and then just add water and just let it soak in. And it works beautiful like that. Just saves you a little bit of work, and it's just a little cleaner, I think. Now if you're doing like a finished concrete slab, you're going to want to pre-mix it. That dry mixing concrete thing, that doesn't really hold up long term. But in the ground like this, it's fine because it's not going anywhere. It can't spall or move because it's bound in by the dirt around it. Here's some number 3 rebar going in. About 2-foot centers. And that works probably the best for a narrow walkway. If it was, say, 6 feet wider or more, I typically go wire mesh now, because I'm out here in Arizona, Fort Mojave, Arizona to be exact. And my sons are down here in Orange County. Rebar is kind of the way to go because you got a lot of earthquakes and tremors. You got tremors, believe it or not, almost every day there. They're not real noticeable, but there is movement. So rebar is going to help hold it together a little bit better. As far as in Arizona, going with thick steel on 4-inch slab, it's not going to work because we have the swing in temperatures. So you could get rust and swelling on your rebars, which in turn blows the top of the concrete off and separates it. So I go thin gauge in a lot of it. Unless I'm going 6 inches of concrete or more, then I could go rebar.
All right, good morning, everybody. We are here the day of the pour. We got about 9 yards going in today. Me and Shay are the first to arrive. We got my brother Tyler, Jeff, and one other young finisher we worked with a little while back, and his name is Aaron. So, should be a fun pour today. We'll see how it goes. Here is the area we have prepped out. It's a pretty sweet and simple pour. Just a nice little walkway. Wow, look at this big old spider web that was made. That's huge. Oh, and there's the spider. Anyways, we got a nice walkway going all the way to the backyard. We're working on the redwood fencing still right here. It's coming along pretty nicely. And the main big area. What we're gonna do right now too is we're gonna set up a screen pin for this area. Probably throw some plastic up over the windows and the sliding glass door right there, just to be safe. Probably even throw a little bit of plastic over the redwood fencing, just so we don't get any concrete on that as well. So it's kind of hard to clean concrete off of wood. And then we do have one drain in this area because this is the lowest point right here of this whole slab. Basically, we had to kind of follow this concrete, and all this concrete actually slopes backwards, and the highest point is right over there. So it all slopes like this to this corner. And then you can see the drain system we have, and we also did install a sump pump back there. Everything gets pushed out to the front. Other than that though, we're just gonna get prepped out, getting ready for this pour. Should be a fun one. And I'll strap the GoPro on my head, so yeah, you guys can be part of the whole pour. Me and Shane right now are prepping out this surface. We're setting our screw pins down the middle, so when we rod out this area, it'll be really sweet and simple. And now we need to mark elevations.
So we got a new guy here. He came out. He just wanted to work with the Odells on this job and get a feel for how we operate. So he came out, and it was fun meeting with him and seeing how he worked. It worked out really nice, and appreciate the help from him and coming out here and joining in. Anybody else that wants to do that, just reach out, and you're welcome out on jobs all the time, anytime.
Maybe one more shot.
That bull float right there, is that a rocker on that bull float? I hope so, because it wouldn't have came back if it wasn't. It seemed like the angle wasn't quite right. That mix looks pretty good though. I mean, it's not too wet. It looks like about a 5-inch. So that's a good mix there. 3,000 PSI, 5-inch sump. Pulling the rebar on the way out. And because it's, 2-foot spacing, it's easy not to stand on it when you're coming out after you pull it up. Now, if you get it at 1 foot, you're going to most likely step on the rebar if it's at 1 foot. But at 2 foot, you can just step over the bars. On those 3-foot walkways, you almost really don't even need the crossbars. It's not going to crack lengthwise. It's going to crack across. So you really just need your long bars in there. But the short ones, the only thing they're really good for is when you're lifting it up. You can pull from the crossbar and you get your 2 length ones coming up at the same time. That's the beauty of them. And it holds your spacing. That is laying down really nice. Caught the edges with the hand float, cleaned the top of the form on the way out. It's looking real pretty. Here's the Fresno with the rocker. These little 3-foot walkways are kind of fun because they're so easy. You can reach all the way across on them, walk down both sides, and you can knock it out pretty quick. Walking edges are really nice on them. Here's a little hand float action. You can see he found a little hole there, so he's trying to work that out of it. Here's a little 3-foot cutter, which makes it nice on a 3-foot walkway because you got a perfectly straight line every time without having to use a 2x4. And that's the direction it always cracks on those corners at a 45. You can go straight both ways and you'll end up with a crack on a 45 anyway. Every time. So this concrete's going off real good. You can see another little hole there. It wasn't filling, so we went the other direction. This joiner is just a 1/2 inch radius, 3/4 of an inch deep. It's fairly narrow, which is nice if you're going to be roller skating out there or skateboarding. So they had some drainage problems apparently in this backyard. That's why they went with all the drains. But look at that. Is that a sewer clean out right there? I don't recommend tying into those, but you know, some situations I've seen people do it. Here's your old world famous, well broken in nylon broom. You can tell how it's got the arch in it. So this one's been well used. And the more they've been used, that just means they're broken in. They're just starting to work about right. As soon as they start working about right, they break. That's typically like a trowel, a hand float. As soon as you're starting to feel good with it and it's well broken in, then it's trash all of a sudden. All right, this is strip day. And the fence is all up, forms are out. You got a magnificent entrance. All right, that about wraps it up. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button. That way you'll be notified as soon as we upload the next beauty. Bye.